Hey everybody, happy Halloween. This is MTGOrzo here with my Spooktacular Knights of Frights EDH. So this deck is bad. This is not a good deck. However, this deck is very fun. This deck is Lord of Tressorhorn Spooky Halloween Tribal. So this isn't a gauntlet. I'm just going to do some videos. I'm going to stop posting them once Halloween rolls around. But this is one of the more fun decks I've ever built on Magic Online. So we're going to go through it. I've actually recorded some games with this first where I said I wasn't going to do a deck tech. But I am doing a deck tech now because I've had a lot of fun playing this deck for the videos. So I'm going to explain this, and this video is going to go up first, so the timeline is all wonky. So, lands. My lands are Grixis lands. We're not going to go over them. We've seen them in Cedrus. I did change out the basic lands to Masters Edition, because I think they're old and spooky. No particularly spooky lands. I spent 2 tickets, like 1.9 tickets to make this deck out of cards I already had. So I didn't, like, most of that came from buying these Masters Edition Islands. Were like just 0.7 tickets each. So we're gonna go over it. We're gonna go over only the spooky cards. So you guys know what these cards do, you know what? Alright, so Carrion Beetles, look how spooky that is. 1 mana, 1/1 insect. You can exile 3 cards from a single graveyard. It's just some graveyard hate. Carrion Feeder is a spooky guy that spooks our dudes. You can sacrifice dudes to him and he gets bigger. Can't block, but who cares? You're going to be attacking with him. He also triggers Morbid. We have a couple cards that care about that. Faithless Looting is like Halloween, like revels. Like you're going out and busting shit up. It also puts things into our graveyard. We have a small graveyard sub-theme. And we'll talk about that as we kind of get into it. Speaking of which, we have Deranged Assistant, the Spooky Man. Garl, just the slurry dispensers. Garl, fetch more corpses. Garl, quit crying and give me your brain tissue. My first real set was Innistrad. I love it to death. I love Innistrad more than any other set in the world. The only set I'm confident that I know how to draft is Triple Innistrad because I did it so much. I love Triple Innistrad drafts, like, more than lots of things in the universe. Stitcher's Apprentice. So I didn't even tell him what he does. So you put the top card of your library into your graveyard, add 1. So you put stuff into your graveyard and gives you mana. It's perfect. Stitcher's Apprentice is an interestingly worded card. It's a blue, it's 1 in a blue, 1/2. You can pay 1 in a blue, tap, put a 2/2 blue homunculus creature token into play, then sacrifice a creature. So normally you would have to sacrifice a creature and then you get the thing, but this one you make it and then sacrifice, so you can always trigger a dying effect with this guy. Very spooky. Black Cat, very spooky card. When it dies, target opponent discards a card at random. Carrionet, look at that spooky skeleton. If he's in the graveyard, you can pay, you can pay 2 and 2 black, exile it, and target creature unless that creature controller pays 2. So if they forget about this card, which most people will, you can exile a dude, and it's very cool. Cyclopean Mummy, just because he's a fucking mummy. When he dies, you exile it. So he's a 2/1, and when it dies, exiles. Plague Bearer is a very spooky guy, and is repeatable removal if you have the mana. You can pay X and a black to destroy target non-black creature with converted mana cost X. Dreadbore is removal, not spooky. These aren't spooky. Armored Scob. Okay, so let's talk about the Scobs and how they're the best form of they're the most well-designed blue creatures in the game. The Scobs are so cool. So this Scob, you can cast, you don't need to do anything for it, but when you cast it, you put the top 4 cards of your library into your graveyard. So that fuels your other Scobs. Relentless Scob, Makeshift Mauler, and there's another huge one that I think I might have forgotten to put in the deck. Where is it? Scob. Scob Goliath. Yeah, I forgot to put Scob Goliath in the deck. Now I need to take something out. I'm going to take out. Oh no, what am I gonna take out? All these cards are good. Royal Assassin. That wasn't very spooky to begin with. Alright, so now we're more spooky. So like Scob Goliath. So you put cards in the graveyard and you use them to cast your stuff. A well-designed 1/4 does things, it's great. Bonded Fetch is a spooky homunculus. It's a looter, draws those cards, and puts cards in the graveyard. Forbidden Alchemy is a very spooky card. Yeah, more Scobs. It's a 3/6, enters the battlefield tapped, but it's still 3/6. Flying Scob. This guy was insane in draft. If you could get this deck to work, he was your all-star. Spooky Girl Child. For some horror movie tropes for Halloween. You can sacrifice a creature, it gets +2/+2. It's another aristocrat. Corpse Swept is a card that I just found out looking at spooky cards when I made this deck. You can pay 1 and a black, exile 1 or more creature cards from your graveyard, and you put an X Black Zombie Horror onto the battlefield, where X is twice the number of cards exiled this way. So you exile 1, you get a 2/2, 2 you get a 4/4, 3 you get a 6/6, and so on. If you really need to like surprisingly end the game, casting this can do it. And here's our first curse. So we have a curse sub-theme. So we have Curse of Shallow Graves. Enchant player, whenever a player attacks enchanted player with 1 or more creatures, that attacking player may put a 2/2 black zombie creature onto the battlefield tapped. So unfortunately, you do not get a zombie for each attacking creature, but it's still a good way to get dudes to sacrifice to Lord of Tressorhorn, who we didn't even go over. So Lord of Tressorhorn is our trick-or-treater. So when he's the spirit of Halloween. When he enters the battlefield, you lose 2 life, sacrifice 2 creatures, and target opponent draws 2 cards. But he's a 10/4 for 4 with Regenerate. So, like, you give them something in return for this awesome spooky monster. Very cool. Let's keep going. Dark Deal is, drug dealing on Halloween. I thought it was kind of funny. Headless Horseman. I am running a vanilla creature in here because it is so spooky. Look how spooky that card is, and it's got the Legend of Sleepy Hollow flavor text. Like, this card is very spooky. Nightscape, spooky guy on a horse, does spooky Grixis things. Read the Bones is very spooky. Felden is like the guy making marionettes in the horror movie and stuff like that. Dak Faden is the trickster. He steals stuff on Halloween. He also causes some chaos. Makeshift Mauler is a Scob with fucking sick art. Look at that fucking Resident Evil art. That's so cool. That human is getting seriously destroyed. Jace is the best card in this deck by a long shot, and I don't like that I'm playing him, but he's a trick-or-treater. This card needs to win sometime, because we're playing cards like Childhood Horror, which, if you have Threshold, just is a flying 4/4 for 4 and can't block. So probably pretty good in draft, but he's very spooky, so he's in the deck. We got another Curse of Oblivion, the beginning of enchanted player's upkeep. That player exiles 2 cards from his or her graveyard. And then All Hallows Eve. Yeah, so this card is the prototype Living Death. So you exile it with 2 scream counters on it, and when it has no scream counters on it, you Living Death. But you don't exile all the creatures on the battlefield. You just put all the creatures in graveyards into play. Each player does it for each, so you don't get their stuff. But look, it has a fucking jack-o'-lantern on it. How spooky is this card? Banshee has radical art, and it actually is not a bad card. It's 4/4. It's a 4-mana 0/1, but it can, if you have a bunch of mana, it kills dudes and kills players at the expense of your life, which I think is a really neat, spooky card. Howling Banshee, more Banshees. It's a 3/3 flyer. Each player loses 3 life when it enters the battlefield. Keening Banshee. When it enters the battlefield, target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn. Nightscape Master, a very creepy guy, does creepy Grixis things again. Skin Render is our Alien series representative. When he enters the battlefield, put 3 -1 counters on target creature. Good removal, or good way to neuter a creature. Evil Twin, very spooky clone. You can clone something and then pay Dimir and tap it to destroy target creature with the same name. Get another curse, Curse of Echoes. Whenever enchanted player plays an instant or sorcery, each other player may copy that spell, may choose new targets. We have this fucking Yeti mutant crazy guy. When he becomes blocked, you may draw 2 cards. Like, look how spooky that guy is. He's like Cthulhu. Bribery is trick-or-treating. You know what bribery does. Relentless Scobs or more zombies. This one has Undying. Curse of Misfortunes. So you enchant them and then you may search your library for a curse and curse them with that curse. So very, very neat card, especially if you have Curse of Thirst, which deals damage equal to the number of curses attached to them and their upkeep. Ghoulcaller Gisa is a very spooky lady who sacrifices your dudes to make more zombies. Morkrut Banshee has Morbid, the only card I think with the actual keyword of Morbid in this deck, but whenever it enters the battlefield, if a creature died this turn, target creature gets -4/-4. Soul Collector is this weird art BDSM thing. Whenever a creature dealt damage by it dies, return that onto the battlefield under your control, and it has Morph. It's a very cool card. This used to be one of the backgrounds for the old version of Moto. Curse of Bloodletting. Doubles the damage that's dealt to them. Very good. Very good one to get after you have Curse of Misfortunes out. Possessed Scob. A new Scob from Innistrad that it basically is the blue-black Eternal Witness, but if it dies, exile it. So, Creepy Doll. That's actually neat flavor. So it's like when he dies, that little ghost container like ruptures and you can't get him back because he's just a dead body. It's pretty good flavor. Creepy Doll is just creepy. Very good. It's an indestructible blocker. This was one of the first rares I opened in draft. This was like I packed one, picked one this. I think I did it over like Victim of Night, like because I'm an idiot. It was a rare and it had indestructible on it. So whenever it deals combat damage to a creature, flip a coin. If you win that flip, destroy that creature. Very spooky. More Scobs. Spooky Skeleton Man that gets our guys back. Also sacrifices creatures. Dread Reaper, the spookiest creature in the game. Flying, when he enters the battlefield, I lose 5 life, but the fucking sick metal art. Charmbreaker Devil is spooky devils that get back our instants and sorceries. Havoc Festival is the Halloween party, so at the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player loses half of his or her life rounded up. Cedrus, old favorite, spooky skeleton man that gets back our guys. Not very many more. Yeah, we just have Bonfire the Damned left, which is, you know, it's got spooky art. So this deck is very spooky, it's very Halloween, very flavorful. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I'm going to play some more games, and so every day until November 1st, we are going to see Lord of Tresor Horde along with whatever videos I put up. So, see you guys in the games.